Good afternoon guys, how are you? My name's Adam and welcome to the Solely and Clean Eating Plan. We'll just let you know a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. Basically I've been on the plan for about 9 weeks now. I was around about 20 stone when I first started and I've lost 4 stone and I'm nearly 16 stone in weight. Basically how I've done that is by doing the plan which I've been given, which involves the exercise and obviously the water, 3 litres of water a day, which I must do as well. But I've had to think for myself and come up with a few different recipes. So what I've come together with is about 5 or 6 different recipes that you can use over the week. Really simple, only take about 15-20 minutes of your time to prepare, and then you can put them in the oven and cook them on and then leave them for later on, or they're things that you might use for a quick lunch as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you the ingredients in just 2 or 3 minutes time, and then we'll put together everything and cook it. Okay, thank you. Okay then guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the ingredients for your clean beef stroganoff. So what we've got here is we've got 1 large or 2 small onions, we've got 1.5 large red peppers, then we've got around about 400 kilograms of beef, lean beef. You need to do is go through those and cut all the fatty bits off. So I've already done that in there. Then you've got around about 7 or 8 small button mushrooms. It's around about 200 grams. And then you've got your pepper. You've got your paprika. We've got some cardamoms for the rice, and we've got some rice and everything. And you've got it all prepped up. Then we need to do 2 things. We need to put the oven on to about 220 gas mark, and you leave that on whilst you're doing all your other prep. And then we need to get your pan on for your beef, because the beef is the first thing we're going to cook first. Use the centre one. Okay, now the main thing about clean eating is that you don't use too much oil when you're cooking, because obviously if you do use a lot of oil then you're not clean eating. It's just one of them things that creeps up on you. So you need to make sure you use a small amount. So not even a teaspoon, just a tiny small amount in the pan. And then you just need to coat your pan around there. Let it heat up so it's sizzling when you put your beef in. Notice that what I've already done pre-prepped there is I've got a pan of water on the back, and the pan of water is for your rice. Okay, so you've already got that prepped up, and you just whack the, make sure I've got the right top. You make sure you've got the water on there so that you're ready for your rice when you put the stroganoff into the oven. Okay, so what we do is you can hear the beef sizzling. That's really important. You need to seal the beef off first. If it's not sizzling when it's in the pan, it doesn't cook right, and you take all the tenderisation out of it. So you just need to make sure you've got a nice sizzling pan. So you seal the beef off. Obviously remember, when you're cooking for, this is like for 4 people we've got here, so you need to think of, do you want it medium or do you want it rare? So the less you want it cooked, the less you leave it on the heat, obviously. So, because I'm cooking it for some different people tonight, then what I'll do is I'll just do it medium. So I'll leave that on there, and we'll cook this for around about, it'll cook for about 4 minutes. So you just stir the beef around the pan so that you coat it and it goes brown and all the red has gone out of the centre. Okay, so what we'll do now is we want it to keep it a little bit pink in the middle for when it's cooked, if you have it medium. So we'll just take that off there now, so it's just about medium rare, and we'll take that off and leave that on the side. Leave it in the pan with all the juices. Then you need another pan on there. What you're doing now is you're going to cook all your veg. You'll have all your veg cooked off eventually, and then you put the meat back together with the veg in your tray and then put it in the oven. And what that does is then, because we've got this at medium rare, by the time it's cooked in the oven later on, it should just be about medium, and it should be nice and succulent, and it won't be too chewy, which is what you don't want. So, right then, what we've got is our onions. Getting them in there again, always really important that you've got the sizzling pan when you start cooking. So we've got the onions in there. That's the first thing we're going to do, is just brown these off, about 2 minutes. That's all it takes. So what you'll do is you'll notice any of the recipes that we're doing are all clean recipes that don't include any additives or sugar or extra fats or anything like that. It's all just basically protein, because you know, it sort of flushes our system out with the water and everything. So we don't have any extra oils in there. So it's always a tiny amount of oil. It's always you know, making sure that you drain all the oil off properly as well. So we've got the onions browning off there already. What we'll do is we'll put the peppers in. Peppers go in there as well. And then the important thing is always make sure it's all stirred so that the peppers cook through properly. Saying in total this takes around about 20 minutes to get everything prepped, and then everything will be put together in the oven and will cook very usually about an hour. Okay, so then we need the mushrooms in there, and then we'll stir all the mushrooms through, and these usually take around about 5 minutes in the pan now for everything to come together, and then we'll add our spices. Okay then, so what we've done now is we've got to about 4.5 minutes of cooking. Your vegetables, so we need to add, this is a mix of salt and black pepper, which is already there, just ground that in. So this is your seasoning that you're adding now. So you add that in, put a bit of that. Now paprika, it's roughly around about a teaspoon of paprika, but what I'll do is just coat the top of the vegetables like that. Okay? You want plenty of flavour, because otherwise it's just tasteless. Just because it's clean food doesn't mean it doesn't have to taste nice. It always tastes good. You can put paprika in there just to give it plenty of flavour. Okay, your next stage then is you bring this over here. Okay, now you add the beef. You want to make sure that there's juices on the beef are in there as well, which will add extra flavour. And just stir them together. Okay, and then this is your Greek yoghurt. These are about 500 gram tubs. You need half of this, 250 grams, which you need. Just make sure, nearly a comedy of errors in. Make sure you take that off the top. You don't want any plastic in your food. So you can judge it to about half. So it's about 250 grams. It just speeds things up a little bit for you, rather than you having to weigh everything out. So about half the tub. Okay. Okey-doke. Then just make sure you add all of that in. Now what we do now is, once we've got all this together, we need to add a tiny little bit of water, and then we transfer it into here. Then what happens, it goes into the oven for an hour and a half, and then it will cook. So just a little bit of water, that's all it is doing, is to add a bit more moisture so it doesn't completely dry out. This will thicken on its own in the oven. Add it into your tray. Add a bit more seasoning to it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to transfer it to the oven, where we'll leave it for around about an hour. Okay, we've had the oven on for around about 10-15 minutes now while we've been doing that. So place it on the top shelf. Okay, top shelf of your oven. Oven's been on for about 20 minutes. It'll take about an hour from there. What we've got left, all we've got to do is, you've got your rice in there now, so you need about 4 cups of brown basmati rice if you're doing for 4 people. Okay, then you transfer your rice into there, and you can add some cardamom for flavour. Basically you just need about 6 or 7 cardamom in your rice when you've got about 4 people, because it's quite potent flavour, so you just need to add that in there. And then once we've got the rice in there, it takes around about 20-25 minutes for the rice to boil through, and then what we'll do is, when the stroganoff's ready, we'll put everything together on the plate. Okay? Okay, so we're at the point now where about an hour later, so what we do is take the rice off. That's ready to go now. It's nice and fluffy, it just needs draining, so we'll put it in the sieve that I've got here. If you're ready to serve it straight away, I'd just put a little bit of warm water through it. But if you want to keep it for later on, you have to put a bit of cold water to it just to cool it, shut it down, and then in a container and then in the fridge. But if you're going to do it straight away, you're okay just putting a little bit of warm water through it. Okay? This is the stroganoff, which we put in an hour ago. The yogurt and the water are going to mix together, but not so much that it goes too thick, because you don't want it too thick. Okay, we turn everything off. Say this is completely clean eating, so there's nothing in here that you shouldn't have. The yogurt is substitute for cream that you usually have in a stroganoff, so obviously it's much better for you. Only takes about 15-20 minutes to prep, and then an hour in the oven, so you can go away and do other things you've got to do, like go in the gym for instance, while you're waiting for it to cook. And then you just serve up there, so that you've got thickness of the sauce on the stroganoff, and you've also got a little bit of juice there off the beef still. And then we'll just plate that up. Pepper stroganoff with yogurt instead of cream. We've got boiled rice with cardamoms in it to give it a little bit of fragrance and a bit of flavour. So that's a completely clean dish. 20 minutes to prep, as I said, and then about an hour to cook in the oven. About 20 minutes for your rice while your stroganoff's in the oven. And there you go. So we'll see you next time with another clean recipe, which is easy for you to do and you'll enjoy. Thank you very much. Cheers.